not least, should the Jags bench Trevor Lawrence? My man had 3 picks, 3 touchdowns for 332 yards. I don't think they should bench him.
No,
It's fun to get the people riled, fun to get the people going. Look, they look better, and he even said, he goes, look, we looked a lot better than week 1. They did.
It's just it looks a lot better, but it still doesn't look good. It still doesn't look NFL caliber. A lot of they just look offensively confused. Just
it looks like a rookie team.
Yeah,
Hey,
very young team.
We could look like the Jets. So there's a positive.
That is also true.
There's a positive there. Urban came out and said, let me pull up his quote. Let me see if it takes 45 minutes to pull up his quote or not. He said, hang in there with us. I got to have it blocked up. We're going to get better. The one thing about Jacksonville in the 904, go to sleep knowing there's not going to be any group working harder to get this thing flipped. I think he stole that from Tebow.
Like that against, it sounds very Tebow-esque. Yeah,
I like it.
After an Ole Miss loss.
I like the mindset, right? It's very un-Brooksy-like, very optimistic mindset. And I think we had to be patient. I mean, I expected this. I mean, you wanted to be hyped. You want to be pumped up, right? A bunch of new teams, new coach. You wanted the hype of, hey, we're going to go 9-0, but let's be realistic. That was never going to happen. I've kind of mentioned this before.
It's a double-edged sword. If ever you have a young team coming in, you've got rookie wide receivers making significant playing time. You've got a rookie quarterback. You've got a rookie.
It's a lot of young, very young team.
Yeah, and so you can't. I mean, look, everybody wants the youth infusion to get rid of the old, out with the old, and in with the new. Well, that still takes time. So, I'm not saying that these guys aren't going to go out and win the Super Bowl week 1. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, I think, kind of broke the mold a little bit with just the youth.
But we talked about this last week.
That's about it.
That's not true, though, because we talked about this last week where Mahomes had an entire season behind Alex Smith.
Mm-hmm. Alex Smith,
right?
Yeah.
And I said that's important for these guys for their development. I don't think people realize how important that is. And it's the same thing in Chicago. It happened this past weekend where they're praising for Andy Dalton to come out so Justin Fields could come in. Justin Fields came in and was 6 for 13 with an interception. He wasn't anything famous. He wasn't flashy. They won the game, but it wasn't anything like lights out. Thankfully, Jimmy G has been doing his job, which I'm ecstatic about because I'm a huge fan of Jimmy G. I mentioned that early on in the cast and kind of have shut the Trey Lance talk out pretty quickly. But I think it's going to be huge for Trey Lance to be able to learn that behind him. Look, I have that young mentality where it's like I want to get out, I want to do it, I want to kind of give me a shot. I want to be that young guy. Unfortunately, sometimes we got to take a little sip of our ego and realize, like, no, not everybody can be that guy. I mean, even Tom didn't do that. Tom was great because he was able to. I mean, he only had a season, but he was behind Bledsoe. He was able to.
Bledsoe, yeah.
He never had the anticipation of earning it, right? Even Mac Jones. I mean, he's starting early, but I think he had a great coach in Nick, and he's learned patience because he didn't. I mean, he was the backup all the way up until Bama. He was the backup in high school. He wasn't like that was his thing the entire time, and then he went to then obviously he got the starting job, did what he did in Bama, won a national natty champion. Then now he's in New England, so he's one of those rare breeds that is able to be patient, right? He understands like, hey, I know it's not my job. I have to go out there and earn it. And I think some of these younger guys, they haven't had to go through that. Trevor Lawrence has never had to go through that ever. I mean, they've talked with this guy
he might have been behind Deshaun Watson. I think he was behind Watson at Clemson for a year. Or so.
For a year. But my point is, he was always the guy. He was always the guy.
He was always going to be the guy.
Yeah, and I think he knew that. I mean, he had a year in college, but it really wasn't like who cares. Right. It wasn't anything to be like that big of a deal, but. To me, that hurts those guys. So we'll see. I mean, I think he still looks comfortable in the pocket. I mean, I love how they make him throw all the time. I think that's going to be beneficial. Who cares about how many picks he throws? He's throwing some good balls in there. He's throwing throwing bad ones too. But just keep throwing the ball. Just keep doing you. Yeah. And I think it's going to be. I'm still excited about it. I think the Denver's a pretty solid team. I think people don't realize that they got a pretty solid defense. Teddy Bridgewater's no slouch either. I mean, he's got some time under his feet. So. Sure. That's all beneficial.
Yeah, and Denver played a pretty good game as well. It's not let's not take anything away from them. They played their style of game, and Teddy did what Teddy does. He's an athletic guy. He made some plays. He converted some third downs that looked like we had him kind of bottled up. It just is what it is. The secondary had Henderson out They had a couple of broken coverages that Teddy was able to take advantage of. So it's all part of the growing process. Again, it's a young team. Sure. It's in the mindset of a football fan. You always think these guys are going to go out there and just be world beaters, but that's just really not how it works. So
sure. Well, Steven, it is always a pleasure.
I can't expect a win on Saturday any longer, but Sunday could do me a favor from every once in a blue.
Yeah, that's very good. Saturday, you're not getting W's anymore.
No.
Steven, pleasure as always to come in and do the BDE podcast with you. Great topics today. I'm excited. Hey, make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday. We will be live on the Facebook. Okay, little wieners and wags. We have Caitlin coming back to back, defending champion.
Champion.
Can we get a wiener in here that can get a W? I mean,
can we get a wiener to be a winner? Gosh, dang it, Shelton.
Goodness. As of now, we got the wags 2-0, wieners 0-2. Till next time, I'm Shelton. We're lagging.
We are. But we also got some picks for the scoreboard as well. So we got wieners, wags. We've got some scoreboard picks for this weekend's games. Maybe we'll get a little crazy and do something with this Ryder Cup. Maybe a little extra sauce.
I like it. We'll try this again. Steven, until next time, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Holly.
Boogada.
New look, got the ladies shook. New watch.